Hi and welcome to Storage Switzerland. Meet the CEO. This time our CEO is Ebrahim Abbasi. He's with Violin Systems. Ebrahim, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
And also joining us is George Crump. He's the lead analyst and founder of Storage Switzerland. Ebrahim, tell us a little bit about Violin Systems. What makes this company so special for you?
Well, this company has close to 200 patents, invented the all-flash array market, and at the time, 5 years ago, introduced into the market what was the NVMe of time at that time, and has a great technology. And I joined because I want to take it to the next level.
Joining us, George Crump. George.
So, Ebrahim, what I remember, I mean, I've been working with Violin for as long as there's been flash memory, it feels like. And what I remember is you guys having some really great hardware at the get-go, and then I think the world went left on you, and all of a sudden all the hardware didn't matter, and everybody started focusing on software. Is that a fair description of sort of what happened to you guys in sort of the middle stage of your existence?
To some extent, George, hardware does matter. What Violin missed was adding the data services on top of it. They relied too long on hardware as they only play, and they missed the market. When deduplication made flash more affordable, they didn't think that they needed, and they took the market for granted. And that was, I think, one of the mistakes that the company did.
And I think one of the things, obviously, we should address at this point is you guys had a kind of a rough go there for a little bit. You want to kind of talk about sort of how you came into Violin and what happened, and then sort of what you're doing to fix it?
Sure. I joined at the invitation of the former CEO in 2014, focused on financial reengineering of the company and fixing the cost base first. Then I took over R&D because the platform that was introduced too early and before it was ready, and we had to do some architectural and design changes in the operating system. We fixed the product, we fixed the financials, but by summer of 2016, when we were at that point, the company was heading into bankruptcy, and that's the rest you know.
Yeah, and I think that there's a term that I heard. I used to run a storage integrator, work for a storage integrator who had some similar situations, and the term I heard was great company, bad balance sheet. And I think that you guys were able to utilize that situation and really clean up that balance sheet. And now coming out the other side, I assume you're feeling pretty good about things, yes?
Absolutely. There are two basic fundamentals in running a successful company, no matter what market you're in or where you're located. One is live within your means, and second is be very bold and focused on your product development. I think Violin missed both of them. They were spending too much money, and with the introduction of the Concerto and I would say Violin 2.0 after the initial hardware-only solution, it wasn't focused, and it got into primary storage and was not the market that was ready for. And now what we're doing is we're focusing. We're focusing on what problem we're solving. We're not going to be everything to everyone. And we're focusing on specific areas. For example, database acceleration, big data analytics, real-time OLTP. Those are the use cases in 6 verticals: insurance, health, telco, technology, retail, and government. We're back, by the way, into government business. And that's what it is. Focus on technology and market. You can't be, especially a small company, you can't be everything to everyone. And second, which is even equally more critical, is live within your means without killing your innovation.
What about you? Why are you getting into companies like this? Why did you get into Violin when they were in so much trouble to begin with? Most people run from things like this.
My DNA is infected a little bit because I came to this country as an immigrant, and I experienced turnaround And I found life to be a turnaround. And if you don't believe me, talk to your next Google driver. At every time you find yourself in a situation when you need to say, okay, what's the next turn? And how can I make the right turn for the bend in the road doesn't become the end of the road? I got into the turnaround situation early on out of the necessity of being an immigrant and completely broke in this country. I like this so much that I don't go to healthy companies. This is the sixth time I'm going to a company in this situation. Number 6. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, but a combination of those 6 has resulted into almost $30 billion of M&A. But the barometer for me is there something there to turn around? And it starts with technology. Because a lot of companies have invention, but they don't have innovation. They design something, they fall in love with it, and they don't monetize it, and they go out of business. And that's when I come in. I don't fall in love in technology. I don't fall in love with the business model. I fall in love with the monetization and solving the customer's problem, and the investors, employees, and customers benefit. But to answer your question personally, I see life as flying. The fun is in takeoff and landing, and cruise control or fall asleep.
These other companies, you've been to so many different companies. You've been to 6. Now, you've always said that it's not you that has done this. It's this team that you've put together. Do you have people who follow you from business to business, or do you go in and work with the assets that each company has and then turn them around with what they already have as far as personnel?
First of all, it's never a one-person show, and I'm not that special. What is special about what I do is I go to a company. If I have an entourage to follow me, I can go in and say, okay, guys, I found another target. You go fix it, and I'm going to play golf. No. I go in, and I start looking at smart people who have not been valued. I find them in situations like this at Violin, people who are right now in the executive world and decision-making for me, they were 3 layers below in engineering and other parts of the organization. I find the talent. I owe it to them to promote them, to inspire them, to encourage them to take risk. And if I am missing some elements that I need to fill, then I bring from outside. But first, I focus on who they are there. Otherwise, I'm going in and saying, whatever you did, it was completely bad. I'm a savior, and I'm going to bring my team. No, I'm going in. I ask people, what did we do wrong, and how can you participate in the solution? So, no, I have people who have been working for me for 20 years and follow me from company to company, but I don't go in and wipe everything out. The passion that I have that is more important than money is to find smart people who are waiting for someone to give them a chance and to celebrate their failures with them.
Wow, I'll tell you that we could just record that snippet right there, because that is really good from just a business leadership perspective. Let's look at the technology for a second, though. Pretend I'm an IT professional and I'm considering Violin. As the state of the company today, make me feel good about how things are right now.
First, I'm going to make you feel bad. I'm going to scare you. People don't get fired for buying IBM or HP. People do get fired buying from a small company like Violin. So first, the scary part. But here's the good part to wipe out the scary part. Our size is our competitive advantage. When you as an IT guy buy from us, after you get the system, after we've cashed the check, because you took a risk on me, you're creating an ethical and moral obligation on my part to honor your trust. Your number one ultimate customer support line is my cell phone on business card that I gave you on day one. If something happens, we're all hands on deck. That's why I never want to be HP. I don't want to be EMC. I want to have intimacy with my customers. I want to participate in their success because business for me is very personal.
That's really good too. And I think this is what this is, and we were talking earlier, this is translating into real results.
Correct. We're cash flow positive and we're heading to profitability. And I am looking forward to have the honor of to be the CEO of the first all-flash array company that becomes profitable. I want to break the myth that if you're storage, you need to keep accumulating losses for the hope of someday to become profitable. Hope is not a good business strategy.
How important is that for you to have that profitability?
As long as profitability does not compromise and jeopardize the long-term strategic goal of the company, I'm for it. In previous companies, at times I have decided and executed to strategically lose money. You see, I don't want to spend money. I want to invest. Invest has return, spending doesn't. And in one company before, 76% of revenue for 1 year went to engineering, and it paid off beautifully. So it's not just cost, and it's not just technology. Strategy drives the finances, and finances justify the strategy. They go hand in hand, and profitability is the byproduct of the product leadership. There are two pillars in a company: product leadership, operational excellence. You have to have both. You have to monetize your product and become profitable in a strategic way, not being penny wise, pound foolish, and not to spend money like a drunken sailor.
So let's go ahead and talk about some products.
Sure.
You know, obviously you guys have a current product offering. Why don't you kind of walk us just real quickly through your current product offering?
Sure. As you know, Violin started with the 6000, hardware only, focus on performance. Nobody competed with it. Today we have on the same platform, 3RU, the same platform, we are providing a platform that has 140 terabytes of raw capacity that can do up to 2.5 million IOPS. It can run, one customer I talked to a couple of days ago using it, runs 1 million IOPS at 120 microsecond latency. 7650 is the name of that platform. If a customer has capacity issue, we have the same hardware platform. It's called 7450. It has the most completed and tested suite of data centers. The platform is shipped with Concerto OS 7, and we have a Fortune 50 customer who's using it, and we guarantee to them 6-to-1 dedupe ratio. With VDI, we get 20-to-1. With database, we get 2-to-1 in some cases. And we have a customer, again, another Fortune 50, that uses a mixture of all three, and they're getting 9-to-1 overall dedupe ratio. The third platform is I would call it service extender, is a high availability stretch cluster, 0 RTO, 0 RPO, and it's an insurance policy for the product. You can actually put for that product, what we did was we decoupled the operating system, put it in a server, and it can manage various pools of storage from HP, IBM, and likes, and Violin under that terminal. Okay,
well, that's an extensive portfolio, and it's interesting. You know, we were talking about some of your other flash brethren. It's a much more complete portfolio in that it can adjust better to different use cases, where some of your competitors, essentially all problems are nails because all they have is hammers. And you guys have, you know, sort of although built on the same platform, you have different offerings for different use cases, it sounds like.
That's absolutely correct. When we go to a customer, we first gauge their nail and we bring the appropriate hammer in. I have visited, of the 120 customers who have come back, I visited a lot of them. And when I walk in, they say, do you have a PowerPoint presentation? I said, no, I'm here to tell you what the company does and listen to you to see what problem I can solve. And to use your analogy, show me your nail. Because one form fit all. And I also tell them, look, if I don't have the solution you need, it's been a pleasure knowing you.
Fair enough. So let's, as we kind of wrap up here, let's talk about where you see, just as a whole, putting on your sort of crystal ball, where do you see the flash industry and high performance storage kind of heading over the next 5 years?
So first of all, the public cloud is extending its reach and is coming. People like Amazon are coming from the top and encroaching into the enterprise field. But as far as Violin Systems is concerned, I see the portion of the storage market that is on-premise private cloud, which runs mission-critical, latency-sensitive applications in healthcare, insurance, retail, technology. That will not go to the cloud for the foreseeable future. We're focusing on there, and it is going to get exciting because to share with you where I think the market is going to go, I'll tell you what we're doing for each of those three products as a next gen. For every one of our products, we have a next generation that lowers the latency and improves the density. For example, we are working on NVMe 3D crosspoint hardware platform. We are on the hardware side to develop the next gen. We're not going to introduce it for some time because the market is not going to be ready for it. And I was talking to one of our customers and said, you're not my problem. VMware and the rest are. So you're fine right now. But on the software side, with the support of our new investors, we're developing our next generation operating system to add scale out, software defined, and cloud tiering and QoS and those features. So the market is going to, on the hardware side, I think you're going to see an incredible upheaval with the introduction of NVMe, 3D NAND, and 3D crosspoint. On the software side, you know, we're heading towards AI, deep learning, machine learning, data mobility, to a point that the end user at the enterprise level in the next few years are going to look on their screen. They're going to search, index, store, analyze, predict. That's, in my humble view, where the market is heading.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to agree with there. I think that the cloud is something that we all need to recognize, but I think to your point, not everything is going to go there, and I think it'll be a while before a lot, if ever, a lot of these apps. In fact, we're seeing a lot of what I think the term I hear a lot is sort of this boomeranging, where a workload will go to the cloud, and then they realize, it didn't work so well. It'll come right back. Are you guys seeing that as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're seeing that the market is not ready for NVMe because the infrastructure is not ready. Our product, actually, these three platforms that I just mentioned, they are NVMe ready. We tested it, but it doesn't do anything. So I'm not going to just announce that we have it just for the sake of having it. It's not solving any customer issues. But we're hearing from customers that NVMe is going to be 2019 and beyond from a true monetization standpoint. Cloud is it's a great subject of discussion, but if you're running a medical operations at a hospital, you're not going to put certain data on the cloud for latency as well as mission critical and privacy nature. So that 20% of the storage market is a safe bet. It is a niche, but it's big enough for all of us. We as a small company and our wonderful bigger competitors, they're all welcome to go in. We'll have our piece. Like I said, we're going to announce another patent that was issued to us. We're going to focus on invention and then immediately take the invention to innovation and monetization. And for a change, we're going to make money.
Okay. So just real quickly, where can people go to get more information?
Violin, www.violinsystem-systems.com. That
So
is
violin-systems.com, right?
that is
All right. Well, Ebrahim, thanks very much for joining us today. Great getting to know you. This is one of those that could be a textbook for business schools. So appreciate your time today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure talking to both of you, and I'm humbled by your comments. I look forward to a repeat of this in the coming quarters. As we're ready to introduce our platforms, I would love to get together with you and share them with you.
Great. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.